matter what is placed on the inside of you, he has a way for that to come to pass. And it's not dependent on somebody else. At the end of the day, you can't say, well, they rejected me, they stopped me, they blocked me. No one can stop what is God's plan.
Okay, so Pastor Rodney here is up here preaching about how nobody can stop you from fulfilling the call of God on your life. But when God tells you to do something and you don't do it, the Lord gave me this scripture for Pastor Rodney. It may be true that deliverance will come from some other way. It may be true that some other method will occur. But look at this. Esther chapter 3, verse 12, 13. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from some other place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows, but that you have come to a royal position for such a time as this. So basically, I'm going to reread this and rephrase this for Pastor Rodney. For do not think that because you are in the ministry and anointed of God and in the house of the Lord, that you alone will escape. For if you refuse to raise up the 100 evangelists like the Lord told you to, relief and deliverance for the 100 evangelists will arise from some other place. But you, Pastor Rodney, will perish. And who knows, Pastor Rodney, maybe the whole reason God raised you up was for such a time as this. In other words, what if Pastor Rodney's whole call of God was supposed to raise up 100 other guys? What if for such a time as this, the only reason God brought him to America and helped him and blessed him and brought him the financial provision that he needs was so that he'd raise up the 100 evangelists? That's why God gave him a Satan face. So in this video that I showed, he's giving excuses as, oh, well, I know God told me to raise up 100 evangelists, but don't let any of those 100 evangelists get upset when I disobey God and they don't do it. Nobody can prevent somebody from... In other words, Pastor Rodney has all this faith in God that God will just compensate for his disobedience. That's not faith at all, but that's Pastor Rodney faith. Pastor Rodney faith says, I can disobey God in this and this and this, and God will compensate for it. God is powerful. He'll do this and he'll move here and move there and do things to compensate for my disobedience. That's what faith is to Pastor Rodney. But the point I'm trying to make is this. You will perish because of it, Pastor Rodney. You will certainly perish because you've been disobedient. And oh, I forgot to mention, you have a Satan face. If anybody doesn't know who Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne is, this is Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne. And if somebody thinks, how dare you take a picture like that and put it and photo edit it to make Pastor Rodney look like the devil. Okay, well, let me show you a different picture. This is his wife. And there's the same photo I just showed you. And here's a screenshot straight from YouTube, from the YouTube channel. So, it's not photo edited. And if you think, well, anybody can pick and choose and just find one image where he looks like Satan. Okay, here's another one. Notice he's wearing a flowing robe. Mark chapter 12 talks about men who wear a flowing robe and they exploit God's people. And then it says such men will be punished most severely. Part of Pastor Rodney's severe punishment is that God gave him devil horns and a Satan face. You think, well, all those pictures he has his eyes closed. And yeah, it looks like he has a dead soul. but his eyes are closed, or he's looking down. Okay, well, then let's get a picture where we see his eyes. Okay? And we'll compare his eyes to the eyes of a snake. Look at those eyes. Now look at those eyes. Those eyes? Can you see those eyes? Look at those eyes. Now look at these eyes. I'm just saying, I see family resemblance, is what I'm saying. It's like father, like son. How's this? That's just a real screenshot. So Pastor Rodney's up there preaching and trying to say, nobody can prevent you from fulfilling the call of God on your life, even if God speaks to him and tells him to raise up 100 evangelists. And so I would bring up Eric Gagnon. Eric Gagnon was supposed to launch out and start his own ministry, go all over the world as a minister himself, and have miraculous signs and wonders, and he knows it too. Timothy Eusta, instead of being a preacher and going all over the world and being one of the 100 evangelists, God treated him like Jezebel in Revelation chapter 2, verse 22. Slayed his child and cast him on a bed of suffering. That's all on Pastor Rodney. Pastor Rodney's going to get up there and tell Eric Gagnon and Timothy Eusta, nobody can prevent you from fulfilling the call of God on your life, except for what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Eric Gagnon my personal servant for life and make Timothy Eusta my personal cash cow for life, and also put Timothy Eusta in a situation where he's at odds with God. Good job, Pastor. And he's going to get up there and he's going to exalt himself. And this is in this picture, the people in the church are exalting Rodney Howard-Browne right here. And he just loves it. See that big smile? Whenever he's exalted or the center of attention, he's got a big smile. He just loves being the center of attention. And the Lord said this is what he looks like. This is the big smile he has on his face when he's the center of attention. So basically, according to the scripture, for such a time as this, Pastor Rodney was raised up. He was given the commission to go and raise up 100 evangelists. He disobeyed God. He denied the Lord. Said no. Then he goes gallivanting all over the world, going after 100 million souls, and proclaims himself to be a world-renowned evangelist and a doctor. You tell me if that's a man of God, and I'll tell you exactly why he has a Satan face. Because, I mean, it should be obvious.